You sharing the screen, Doug?
God damn it. Sorry, that's not going in the highlight reel, TJ. You think I'm bullcrap? Make a video, call TimeBolt a scam.
The problem is, in every transcript-based editor I've seen, whether it's Descript or Camtasia's Audiate or CapCut's transcription-based editor or DaVinci, they can cut the silences out for you and the words that you don't want, but the accuracy leaves a lot to be desired. In fact, a lot of times it's way off. You have to go down to your timeline, make the clip on the left a little bit longer, make the clip on the right a little bit shorter. Why in the world these AI editors can't figure that out and get it right? Well, that's where TimeBolt comes into play.
I say please and thank you to ChatGPT, man. Welcome to TimeBolt Office Hours on August 22nd, 2024. You're live with Doug and Quinston. We're here to answer your questions, check your workflows, and generally just make sure that you get the best out of TimeBolt. Because of the awesome recommendation by TJ, we have a new feature to review. We don't know exactly what that's called yet, do we? It's kind of a deconstruction of one long file versus stitching it together.
How many features are you going to name?
It's called the opposite of stitch. That's what it's called. Unstitched. That's a good one. But I figured we could go through that right now as kind of a way to kick this thing off, just to show some of the new capability. And then we can get into user questions. And I know that we've got some people on the line. How you doing, Kathleen? Sandra's here.
Hello, I'm driving and I'm just going to be listening.
Excellent. And we're going to get to you. I know that you had some questions as well. All right. Well, I think the best way that I can explain the workflow, Startup World Cup. Imagine if you've got a live conference, okay? And I got a live conference video. They had about 10 different startups at the live conference, and they did one long video shoot. This is about an hour and a half long video. Each startup got about 6 to 10 minutes to present and for audience Q&A. And the gentleman that was doing the recording has one long video file. He sent me an M4V. What I did was with that M4V, I went up to, because M4Vs, you cannot preview the actual video preview. I went up and I did a re-encoder. I did re-encoder, dropped the file in, and re-encoded it to MP4. The reason I'm telling you that is because this is such a versatile tool. You can do a lot of the re-encoding and things like that right inside TimeBolt. You don't need another editor. Once that was re-encoded, kicked out a nice MP4. And this is what I would recommend to people doing different types of like longer conferences. What I did here, as you can see, I put remove silences longer than 1 second. I moved it up from 0.5 seconds to 1 second. That way I could keep as much of the natural flow while you're in the presentation as you can
on this stage.
This is like stage work. You're not going to be cut like a YouTuber. But what I did do at like 1 second, what's nice about this is that it's all automated.
It takes to record it.
And when it comes up to a change in slides
that work on YouTube, almost 10.
You've got a real quick transition to slides. Nobody needs to see like how long it takes for you to go. That just kind of messes with the pace when you're watching video. This is a real clean way to edit a long conference up without really cutting it up too much. We have the ability now. Imagine that this conference was broken up every time it kind of changes slides here. Imagine this was a new company, okay? Or this is obviously a new topic. So this is paying customers. Then we go down here and we're typing in, these are YouTube chapters, but they can also now be used for something entirely different, okay? And this is workflow, Zoom workflow. These can be as long as you want. It's a right click. Yeah, you right click and you type
click on the green part. Yeah.
And you can see, it'll mark it with the little star and you can see what your chapter marker is. Now, what TJ had recommended and he had a need for, and along with people that make these conferences, is that as opposed to chapter marking this stuff, it's not so much for YouTube chapters. This is going to delineate where you want the major cuts to happen. Imagine that these where I just put chapters, that was when a new company came on to speak, okay? That I just chaptered out. These are 3 new companies that came on to speak. So now I want to take this one long video, cut out the dead air, the unnecessary parts, right? And then I want to break it up into 3 different videos to upload to YouTube. At this point, as opposed to just clicking render and getting a file and cutting it up and doing some trimming and just copying and pasting that file 3 times, now you can go, I always do with turbo mode. It doesn't matter. You can go here and you want to hit add chapter clips to render. All of these things really do something important. It's specialized for different workflows. These little buttons, everything Quinston has built here really does something. And it's usually just like 1 click. Add chapter clips to render queue. And as you can see, I marked 3 chapters, right? And it just had 3 added to render queue.
You can show it actually. You can just click on the render queue option. You can see what's in there.
Yeah, you can see that the 3 chapters are there to be, as you can see, summary, workflows, paying customer. It actually kept the name of the file, of the chapter marker. So now it's not just like file 1, file 2, file 3, and now you have to go rename it, right? So now all you do is hit start rendering. And while we won't wait for this entire thing to finish out. I am on an M3 or a MacBook Pro. I have an M3. But what this is going to do, it's going to go through, render out each one of these as an individual unique video with a dead air cut. And I don't know how much more simple you could get. Imagine with long PPD, like podcasts, PPD podcasts, for example, those guys use TimeBolt. They have a 2-hour setting that they post live. And then they take that content and then they'll split it up into their most important topics that are like 20, 25 minutes long. Now they'll be able to take that one video, split it up into the topics right there and render to basically deconstruct or disassemble those into all the relevant parts. Quite incredible. And as this goes on, you can see that it begins to create the MP4s. That just created the first MP4. First one is done. As you can see, you have your file names. This could be a company or a topic name or whatnot. And that is how you can delineate based on what your topic areas are. And of course, these still work as YouTube chapters. They are, in fact, chapter markers. And it'll go through and do the exact same thing for the other three. And there you go. You have a perfectly deconstructed long video. And we listened to our most loyal customer, TJ, for a heck of a feature there.
It works out very well. I tested on a machine on a enablement session that I did last week, and the timing of it couldn't be even better. I had six of these things in the queue, and as soon as Winston hit me up over the weekend and stuff, bam, I knocked them out on Sunday. It worked out very well, but I'm already ready for you for version 2. When it's my turn to talk, I got something else for you with this thing as well.
I think what I would like to do is let's go ahead and put this, I'd like to put this topic down and then get into, we'll take any suggestions. And then I would like to get into the last part that I wanted to get through is the accelerator by a guy named Bob, who had been working with AI transcription software and is a newly convert to TimeBolt, just to show you the tremendous amount of time saved while trying to save time by utilizing sound detection with TimeBolt. Let's go ahead and finish this topic off that works. Can you tell us a little about your experience with this?
Basically, it does everything that's advertised and stuff. And the only thing that I mentioned to you when Quinston wasn't available last week is taking the chapter markers and actually put them inside your DaVinci Resolve integration tool so that I can actually get the chapter markers into DaVinci Resolve. I can have that feature set up there as opposed to just having the default.
I'll look into it. I haven't gotten a chance to exactly see if it's technically possible, but should be. Let me take a look at it in more detail, and I'll update you about that.
But then again, like I mentioned to you before, the timing on this thing, you guys knocked it out in like 2 days, and it's just a huge saving for me because we have these enablement sessions that we do that are anywhere between 30 minutes or to an hour. Sometimes we do a full training session, which is like a 3-hour session, and we want to grab certain parts of it and stuff, and then having to manually do that. Whereas me, Doug, I want to go through TimeBolt one time, do the turbo, do the check, do my chapter markers, and I don't want to be going through it again. And by having this tool now, I can do my chapter markers and break them up. So if the enablement team wants separate videos, they can have those. We could use the Stitch to do the teasers with some of these things as well. And then if they want the full long 3-hour session, they have that as well too. My goal is to run through your system with TimeBolt one time through all my videos.
If you have additional things, if these are for a second party, for example, or you're sending these to companies and you have something like a teaser or bumper that you want to put on, this feature is completed, okay, if you are going to do that for each file by doing Stitch, okay? And with Stitch here, because sometimes they put a bumper or a teaser on to tack them onto each one of the videos, depending on like who you're sending it to. This is where now you can drop in each one of these files, right, into Stitch. And then I drop in our electric outro. Okay, just imagine that's an outro. And now you can export this video and stitch each one of them together with an intro or outro as well. So it sounds like we're going to check and see if there's a way to get the actual chapter marker names to transfer in XML. Why would you want to do that, by the way? I think that's a great idea, but why would you want to do that now that you have this?
I don't know. Sometimes we have other people in the company that are doing videos and stuff, and they have different sets of tools and the adoption. I'm hammering them all the time with TimeBolt and everything, and I try to give them little videos and stuff. I actually use your TimeBolt tool to do little videos by using your screen capture piece as well. Nice. And that's a huge savings for me too. I'm just trying to get them to do that, but some of them use DaVinci Resolve, some of them use Adobe Premiere and stuff. Having the chapter markers text file is great for when we're doing YouTubes and stuff like that, but actually having it inside the timeline, whether we're using DaVinci Resolve or Adobe Premiere, is key as well too. We can always track it and find the piece that we want.
Well, Quinston will the wizard. Time for the wizard to come out. And it's a great feature, though. We appreciate that recommendation. Is that the feedback? Is that what feedback you have, or was there something else, DJ?
No, that was it. Like I said, the perfect timing on this thing. I had 6 big things in the queue, anywhere from a 3-hour one to a 30-minute one. And as soon as Quinston sent it to me, I downloaded it, ran it through, and I think it took me probably about 45 minutes to get all 6 of them done. Huge savings.
That's awesome. That's awesome. The next point that while we were kind of talking about capture, Quinston was turning 30 this time last week, right? He wasn't able to get kind of we got all excited and we're like, because I would like to talk to you if it's possible. Is there any way with lifetime customers? We'll talk about this like afterwards, but if there's any way with lifetime customers to give a year's worth of banger access for that first year that they purchased TimeBolt, and then we would make it sometime. We'll talk about how we handle that, but I'd like just to kind of put that out there because everyone here was, I guess, is a lifetime customer as well, and we were talking about. They're like, we love Banger, but I can't send one. That'll be something for us to talk about in the future. Certainly, we want to encourage as much use of the product as possible. The other piece of this, let me go ahead. Would you all like to get to questions right now, or would you like to kind of see what is happening on the other side? The people that didn't find TimeBolt, how much extra time they're spending that you're not.
I think that should be at the last, right? Let's just finish the queries and then we can get to that.
All right, perfect. Well, Kathleen, we have got your files. Do you want me to share my, she has some, you lay them out. It's exactly how I do things. Okay. Like it's so well organized. Seriously, you're like one of our most knowledgeable, organized customers.
I already ran all the files.
Beginners.
Well, you're very well organized. What she has is a computer that we don't know which kind yet, but I'd like to just go ahead and show you what it looks like on an M3. Okay. Just so that we can then get a comparison. I just sent these files over to Quinston. I doubt he's had a time.
I did. I ran all of them. I rendered them. Everything works.
Oh God. Okay.
It took me 4 minutes to render them.
Look, see, this is a beautiful way to put together. See how she has 1, 2, she records. And I'm just saying for the audience, she records in different settings at different times. And this looks like the combination. That's the output. What she did is she ran each file inside TimeBolt, saved the JSON file.
Yeah.
And then what I'll do is I will go in and apply a JSON file to each one of these and stitch again, because we haven't had to render more than once. This is a raw file, right? And this just came straight off a dang computer. So now we've got a fully cut video.
Hello.
Right?
Yeah.
These are all the final cuts of what Kathleen wants. I hit export video. Dude, are you doing like 1080p? I just want to.
Yes.
I did 1080p, but these video clips are 720p. You can do 720p if you want to.
Oh.
All right. There's 720p. Well, and then you name where thing goes, go back in the same folder. I'm sure Kathleen has been staring at this, wondering, she's probably already like, what the heck?
Yeah. This ran overnight and wasn't finished when I woke up in the morning.
My hypothesis over here is that your computer doesn't have an SSD. It's probably like a hard disk drive, is it?
It's a laptop. I don't know much about it.
It's one of those laptops that has a rotating hard disk.
Well, I would have thought that it had SSD, but I
Can you do a diagnosis right now?
Yeah, can you show us like what kind of computer it is?
I'm going to stop sharing.
Is it a Windows or a Mac?
It's a Windows.
Okay. Can you run this command on your go to and type run? Click on the Windows key and type run, and then open the run dialog box. And then if you see the run dialog box, you can type in I'll just show you an example. Doug, can I share my screen? I'll just show what to do. What you need to do is you click on the run key, the Windows key, and then you type in run. This will pop up, and then you open this box called the run box, and you type in dxdiag.
dxdiag. Okay.
Yeah, and then you press OK.
And ask if I want to check if drivers are digitally signed.
So what it does is it essentially creates like a report of your computer.
So then I need to minimize this to see that.
Once you type in dxdiag and press enter, it'll give you a dialog box. You press yes, and then it will show you what your computer is, a report for your computer. This is the report for mine, for example.
For full screen to see this, and I make sure that this one is mine. Now, what do you want me to do with this?
You can share your screen and show it to us. You can minimize all your other windows and then share your screen to show it to us.
Winston, can you put the command in the chat for me?
dxdiag in the run.
All of those are minimized, and then I'm going to go to Zoom. My Zoom window coming back.
Yeah, share.
That's a second. My Zoom window doesn't want. Oh, there it is.
Doug is the only Mac user here.
Once I left, I never went back, dude.
He's on the dark side.
Okay,
Once I went Mac, I never went back here.
I can see it. But what I can see is Intel Core i7 1050, 1065. I don't know which Windows 11. This doesn't look that bad, actually.
That's actually not that bad.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad at all.
Mine's
What
done.
is a 1065 G7? Let me just It is a Lenovo ThinkPad?
It's an LG.
LG. Okay, yeah. The LG 1065 G7. It actually should work just fine. Can you, what I want to see is your hard disk. I have a suspicion that your hard disk is the one that's causing the issues. Can you go to this PC and right click on the C drive and hit property? And then tell me what you see over there. Do you see like...
You just want me like an Explorer window?
Yeah, like the Explorer window, correct. In Explorer, just right click on the C drive and click on properties. C drive. Do you see the amount of used space and free space?
Used space 465 gigabytes, free space 19.5 gigabytes. Too close to being full.
That's fine. I'm pretty sure this is a hard, like when you transfer a file from one folder to another, what is the usual speed you see? Like 20 Mbps, 100 Mbps. So if you're transferring a folder from one folder to another, transferring a file from one folder to another, how fast is it?
Well, it puts up a little symbol, but it seems to be instant.
Can you walk her through it and look now?
Can you show it to me? Can you show me? Can you share your screen and just show it to me?
There's also a D drive that has 16.1 gigabytes used and 460 gigabytes free.
Okay, optimized. Okay, in the C drive, when you right click on properties, is there like a optimize tab?
There's
tools. You can
okay, then there's optimize and defragment the drive.
Tools. No, don't click any of that. Okay, when you click on optimize, a dialog box opens up and it gives you like a column, drive, media type, last analyzed. Is your media type, what's written in the media type column?
Solid state drive for both the C drive.
You have a SSD. Begs the question, what's happening? Then okay, can you open up TimeBolt and share your screen? So we established that both your drives are SSD. We established that your computer is pretty good. It's actually not bad.
Oh, okay, well, that's good.
So everything checks out. Now we need to understand why TimeBolt is rendering slow.
Behind the thing, you'll have to move it down. Well, I understand. It's just, or move it to a different
okay,
screen.
there it is. I can move the Zoom thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do.
This time, it's left up from last night. I've got two windows open from the long one that took a long time overnight.
Yeah.
No.
Can we just do a regular render? Just a normal you can close stitch for now. We'll do like a normal TimeBolt render and see how long it takes. Maybe the same file that you sent up.
Like one or something like that? One of the three?
No, just in the main TimeBolt window, just drop in your file, make the cuts and see what happens and see how fast it takes.
Because that's 3 files.
It's got 3 files.
I want to do just one. Just the first one.
You want the actual one from that day.
It's zipped, I think.
It's in I can do it from the zip. That'll be a good thing.
I know, but you'll have to extract the zip, right? It's already inside.
So the long one was the middle one. Do you want that one?
Yeah, that's fine too. But it's inside the zip. Will it work?
Well, we'll see. If not, I can just
just extract it from the zip.
I've got it extracted. I've got a square thing that's showing it. I don't know. There's just like a rectangular white box that's showing.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
So let me try
it was working, I think, wasn't it?
I'm going to try and do it just from my regular file.
Yeah.
This is last night. So this one was, I think.
Okay, can you scroll to the timeline? No, that's fine. You can actually apply let's try to render this and see how long it takes. Just click on export. Now, can you go to a task manager, right click on the task manager?
Okay.
On the taskbar, right click and just press task manager. Now that we are looking at this, can you it's running at about 80%, 40%, and your entire CPU is at about 80%. Anything else that's okay, the Zoom's running, right? So Zoom is using about 12%. 8 seconds. So the first cut is pretty long. It's 8 seconds to 1 minute 4 seconds. But your disk is also not required at the moment. It is working as expected.
Okay. Am I done with this then?
Well,
just keep it open for a bit. Let me see. Let's just wait for that piece to render, that 8 minute to 1 minute piece. Let's just see how long that takes.
Yeah.
It's been going for a while.
How do I check how far it's coming?
Oh, it'll just change. It'll switch. I can tell that much. It's almost it's trying to get through it right now. 79 drop.
To answer your question, Kathleen, I believe he's looking to see how far it's coming. You can see the rendering from 8 seconds to 1 minute and 4 seconds in TimeBolt.
At the bottom,
At the very bottom, you can see.
Yeah, and how do you interpret that? I keep seeing those, but I don't really know what they mean.
They are basically parts of the original file that are being clipped out. So it's switched from 1 minute 10. So let's see 6 seconds. This is a 6 second segment. How long does it take? That's taking quite
twice as long, 2x.
I think this is like a CPU bottleneck. It's not a disk bottleneck. It's just that and now it dropped. TimeBolt, it's still at 80%, but TimeBolt is using 6% now. Why is it 80%? Why is your CPU at 80? Okay, can you do one thing? Can you click on 81% on the 81% thing? I think it will like sort it from the highest
what is
usage.
This guy?
Okay, that's FFmpeg. Okay, that's what TimeBolt is using. So that's I guess that's fine. It's an efficiency status. Why is it an efficiency? Can you right click on the efficiency thing? Click on, I think there's a way to prioritize the process. But anyway, I don't think we should get into that at this moment. When you render, so this is a laptop, right? You always have it plugged in to the power outlet when you render it?
It's functioning as a desktop right now because the keyboard doesn't work. I've just got it permanently hooked up to an external keyboard and monitor. And I'm getting ready to get a new PC in any case. My big question was, am I going to switch worlds? I had a Mac before this, but after spending a lot of money on it, I was very disgusted when they stopped supporting it.
The
And
2015 version or the one before that?
So that was a while back, and I felt that I hadn't gotten a reasonable amount of time on it. And then I realized later when I researched it that I bought it from, it's not an Apple store, but it's in Eugene. We don't have an Apple store, but we have a store that's dedicated to Mac. And they had apparently sold me something. It was a new machine, but not the latest. I didn't really get a very long lifespan out of that machine. And I had converted my whole world over to Mac. I was just so disgusted with them. I kind of swore off Macs, but
No,
Mac,
I'm not convincing you to use Macs. I don't use the Macs. I use
You can
Windows.
turn off efficiency mode. You can click that efficiency mode. Can you, like, when you go to the see that efficiency mode? I think that's
No, but that's not going to make a difference. It's already at 79% CPU usage, already hitting the top echelons.
yeah, it takes over my machine so much that I just leave it overnight. I've changed my schedule for my video.
There is something up that I can't really tell because on paper the processor looks good. It's an i7, but in practice, even it's just not performing as well as expected. In the control panel on Windows, there is this thing where you can decide how much power you want to push out to the processor. There's this power mode thing. So if you go to an control panel, if you type in the search bar power,
The control panel being
the Windows, so hit the Windows key and type in. I think this is Windows 11. Yeah, control panel 1N. I think you type 2 N's.
They are saying efficiency mode.
Yeah, control
okay.
panel.
Oh, where'd it go? It keeps disappearing.
It's probably because TimeBolt's still running. I think you should just cancel that render so that you don't computer doesn't freeze over. I can just hit the cancel button. That stops working.
Okay.
And now if you go to control panel, I think the window's already open, right?
Okay,
The window's
there we
open behind. In the search bar, type in power, POWER, power. Search bar in the top right corner.
Okay, I see it.
Type in power, and I think you'll get a bunch of options there. Choose a power plan. I think it's the second option. Choose a power plan, and in that you can change power settings. Okay, not this one. Okay, change advanced power setting. What it does is I don't know if it's a desktop thing or a laptop thing. Can you go back to power options, the previous menu? There used to be like an option here which said create a power plan. Maybe that's the thing in Windows 11. Create a power plan. Yeah, just call it my custom plan and just click next. And no, it's not. It's not letting you choose. Like on my computer, like I can go into control panel in power settings. So let me just show you what I see on my computer. Can you stop sharing? I'll share my screen to show you what I'm.
Get that up.
Hold on, don't close out.
I'm just minimizing. I'm not closing.
On mine, when I go into the power options, this is what I see. So it says balance. On your computer, we just saw balance. On mine, we get like 2 other options. It's high performance. Maybe this is like a desktop thing. I don't know, or it's a Windows 11 thing. I'm still on Windows 10. I haven't gone to Windows 11 yet.
I just checked the documentation for Windows 11. Can we please see if she double clicks that efficiency and turn, because Windows 11 and Windows 10, it looks like are entirely different. Like the efficiency is different.
Okay.
Let's go back. Reshare your screen. Because if this is a fix, what I'm saying, I want to be able to let people know that this is a fix to slow render. You'll share yours again. And then to disable, you're going to go back to your task manager, Control-Shift-Escape.
Control-Shift. I don't have escape. Do I? What's escape?
Oh,
there's
left.
escape.
But you're going to go to what would you say? The top, and then, I guess you're not, that's all right though. But you go to the top and you sort it down by
CPU.
I don't know if she turned that process back on to pull up.
I'm just reading about it. I don't know.
If you
Windows 11.
thinking you may need to start rendering that again to pull up the efficiency mode and then double click it and disable it because I don't know how, I can't control your, go back to TimeBolt and just hit start rendering. Just
I don't see the efficiency
of
this guy.
It'll come back. It's going away. Okay, yeah, click on it once it comes up.
But I don't see efficiency. Just click on it.
It randomly goes off 8 minutes.
It's not an efficiency mode at the moment. I don't think this is an efficiency mode thing. It's like even in efficiency mode, the CPU is still running at 78, 80%, which is significantly high.
Listen, didn't you have something set up inside TimeBolt to use the GPU?
But I don't think Kathleen has a GPU. We can test it.
What's a GPU?
Graphics card, for example. Go to settings, the wrench icon, the gear icon. Go to I think it's in the middle of the menu, somewhere around the middle. Render settings, render with cool. You can check that box. If it works, you might have a GPU.
Doesn't let me check it.
Okay, cool. It doesn't work.
Give it a second because I have a GPU on mine and I clicked it and it took 3 seconds for it to show up. Right, there you go.
It's not detected.
Yep.
It doesn't work. I think I don't exactly know what the issue is, but it seems like your CPU is working pretty intensively at 80%. The disk doesn't appear to be a bottleneck. So the disk is fine. I guess it's just like a the CPU thing. One thing, like for example, let me just show you how fast it is on my computer and how it technically should look like if you are running on Windows. If your files, I open Stitch, for example. Let me just open Stitch and I'll go to your files.
You can just do drag and drop. You don't have to click the little thing and select.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
you
you
can
can
drag and drop.
add the timelines as a separate process.
What do you?
I've been open time, click, and
Yeah, the JSON is like the JSON you need to click, but the files you can drag and drop. Let me just show it to you again. I can drag and drop the video files, and then I can select which clip I want to add the JSON to. Select the JSON. I have it on a different screen. The thing is popping up on a different.
When it comes to adding the JSON,
yeah, like for example, like the 1, 2, 3. Now, if I open my task manager, I can see that this is at about 14%. That's the idle. Now nothing's happening at the moment. And when I started exporting, you can see that it jumps to about 89%. 100%. If I just sort, it says this process is going at about 88%. And you can see how fast it's cutting through. It's not that different because I also have an i7. If you can see, it's an i7 13700. It's actually significantly faster than the one you have.
how many I can't say, how many cores do you have?
24 CPU cores.
Wow.
You have 3 times the amount.
And you're 3 times the speed and 3 times the number of cores. If I get a new machine, one of you's on a Mac, one's on a PC. What should I get? A Mac or
PC.
PC.
I'd say
PC.
okay.
Mac all day. And
the thing
PC.
about the reason I would suggest Windows is not even because of the operating system. You're just used to it. It's best to get something you're comfortable with.
Question, would it be asking too much to have you send me an Amazon link to the machine you think would be best for me? And it doesn't have to be a laptop. It could be a laptop or a desktop, whatever.
I don't live in the United States. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Oh.
TJ could help there.
What's
TJ,
the
do you have
minimum
any
number of
recommendations?
cores?
Yeah, Quinston, could I share my screen? I just want to show Catherine something real quick.
It's Sandra. We'll be getting to you very soon. I know you had some errors popping up.
One of the things that you have the ability to do is with Windows, I don't know if you can do it with the Mac, is that you can tell what programs you want to use. So obviously the recommendation I'm going to give you is you would have a GPU on it.
Yeah.
You have the ability to add your own programs to this thing. I can go to options. I can add a program, go to options, and instead of letting Windows decide, I'm going to say use the graphics, the GPU 4080 that I have in this machine. He's going to use it and do the rendering from there as well. And then you could use whatever GPU that you have. This way it takes the pressure off of your CPU by doing that. So that's one of the recommendations that I would have, as well as what Quinston mentioned in regards to turning on the GPU feature within TimeBolt when you have a system that does that.
All right, that is extremely helpful because I want to make the right choice of a computer since I'm investing a significant amount of money into it. I want to make sure I don't make a bad choice.
Well, this is the thing. The reason
this is my setup here, which is a little bit over the top. It's got 32 cores. It's got 96 gigs of memory. It's Windows 11 Pro, which is okay. But then the biggest thing for me, I think, is doing all these enablement and stuff is and rendering the videos is the GPU that's associated with it. You can see if under my displays that I have, this is the GPU that I'm using and stuff. That'll be over the top for you. I wouldn't recommend that for you yourself, but I can certainly work with you and find something that'll give you some GPU horsepower and stuff that TimeBolt could thank you for in the future when you start using it.
That would be spectacular.
If you're going with a Mac, the easiest recommendation is anything with an M3, like M3 Pro, M3 Max. Anything with an M3 is, with Windows, it's a bit more complicated because there are so many options.
If you can go M3, you're not going to go back. Okay. Like I hate, like once I went to a Mac, I'm not like wizard level dude, but like once I went to a Mac and I understood like how to use, I don't ever use a mouse. Right. I don't need a mouse with PC. A PC, you wouldn't be caught me dead without a mouse. Right. And I didn't understand that.
I have a pink mouse. Okay.
Yeah, dude. You do not need a mouse with a Mac. And then and then
how's that?
We're diverse.
How do you manage to not need a mouse?
Because
tell me you wouldn't want this mouse, Doug.
Well, I just carry, like, I'm able to just take my computer apart, but just take it anywhere with me, right? With the laptop, it's portable and it's so powerful. The other thing is that if you're recording a lot of video, what kind of phone do you have?
I have a next, it's one generation in history. It's just a little iPhone. It's an iPhone, but it's just one generation back.
Okay. Well, you have an iPhone.
Still an iPhone.
No, good. Excellent. Well, that's the beauty of having a Mac is that your photos and your videos are going to be shareable. Let me show you. I know how you record, okay? Like I'm looking at how you record. Here, let me share my screen real quick and I'll show you why this is valuable. This capture right here, right? And what's cool is, I don't know if you've seen the video yet, but I can record here. I'll just start recording right now. I can record. I saw how you have your conversation, you're like talking and then you want to like show like some piece of paper or something like that. Like what I can do is here, I can say midstream while I'm recording, go to my iPhone camera.
Oh, wow.
And there's your angle. that you're like, you wouldn't even have to hit stop recording. You could go switch back and forth. And then if you get the M3, what you have here, so this is actually it's the only one that's got a 1080. We've got a 1080p camera integrated right into the M3, right? That's 720p.
And what's going into the recording? Because I tried that and I ended up, the only thing that I ended up with everything in the screen, including my menus and my cursor. And I did a test recording and I had the cursor sitting on my nose. That was
sure. You're gonna record anything that's on your screen. So you just move your, I don't know,
make it full screen.
Just make it full screen and move it out of the way, right?
Yeah.
So you have that button over there on the thumbnail. On the thumbnail that shows the camera, there is like a icon at the bottom which says full screen, the square icon. Doug, can you show the icon?
Yeah.
Well, is it possible to record just a piece of the screen so that you don't have to go
No,
into...
not yet. We haven't done that yet.
Okay.
But what,
Okay. So
Catherine,
full
while
screen
Doug's
again.
getting that set up, can you just put your email address in the chat for me, please?
I've got to bring it
But
up.
yeah, I can hit stop recording and now I've actually got all this stuff and it'll switch automatically between cameras and whatnot. So that's the best recommendation I could give for why I would get an M3. You don't need to go the Pro Max or anything like that. Just make sure you're only going to have like a 500 meg. I wouldn't recommend you get the gig, right? And imagine this, you're making your video and look how quick you know, right? That usually it's much as like a 720p. Well, I mean, see how it just kind of jumps around scenes, right? In TimeBolt, you don't even know, show like some piece of paper or something. What I do is here and say, make sure you're monitoring my camera and as your angle there. So like, see how that back and switch, all that is recordable. And you like, even though the other screen recorders, I can't switch camera views live, right? Like, and what a great way. This camera can be over here. And it's just a way you can use it's just a way to kind of keep people, the eye.
I'm able to go back and forth from the phone because I can use the phone for my down-facing camera, just mount it. It's easy to get a camera mount. I don't have one right now, but I have a USB camera for my down-facing.
Exactly.
Put my phone there. And then to be able to switch from the app over to the phone is spectacular.
Great. Well, then good luck with nice thing is you got Apple and you got an M3s.
And it's not like I've never used Apple before.
Any M series, okay? You don't have to get an M3, okay? But like if you got an M2.
No, don't get an M2. Just get an M3. Doug, just M3. Don't even go to the previous generation.
Okay.
Oh, hold on, Adam. You need to stay. Adam, please stay with us for a second. I want to talk to you, okay? Are you?
Let's get to Sandra first.
Yeah, Sandra, how are you
Doing good. I really don't have any questions. I don't know whatever message you were saying, but I'm kind of disappointed now because I have an M1.
No, I said M1 and M is good. Like M1. No, I just had to switch out of it because I literally had been using it for 3.5, 4 years, and the light thing started to flicker. And all of a sudden in my main pitch, like seriously, I was in the middle of my main pitch given in front of like 50 people in a group. And all of a sudden my computer just died. And luckily I was able to pull it back up quickly, but then it died again and it didn't come back until I got back at the Apple store. And I'm like, no way. That's why I went with an M3. The M1 works great. So
my recommendation was if you get a brand new computer, don't get an M2 or an M1.
Yeah.
If you already have an M1, that's fine. That's great.
I'm sure you're able to still render that stuff. But you didn't have any problem with, who was that had a problem with?
I don't remember. And in any case, I cannot even see it right now. I'm driving and I'm
Celia.
about to lose it. I'm about to.
You can send me an email if you want. Send Doug or me an email with the issue or open the support ticket and we'll get back to you.
I saw real estate consultant and I thought of you. It was Celia. She was on with us last time. I wanted to also show you while we were making a video teaser, we actually came out with a new video on that, but I wanted to show how that looked in action, which was our last show. Let me show this real quick, how great this actually turns out.
I'm really growing too. The square image is growing on me. I love the fact that you can move it. I'm growing to love that.
Oh my gosh, it's simple to see and very explanatory. Many hours with this program. I can't tell enough people about how awesome this is.
We'll keep working.
No, I'm like, thank you very much. Like, oh my gosh, this stuff is great.
I can recover like 6 gigs of storage on my laptop and remove DaVinci Resolve.
And I'm going to keep coming back on Thursdays because I keep learning stuff every time I show up.
Very successful. This thing is going to blow up.
I think I got you Matt Wolf because I love that dude. He's out there doing all kinds of AI stuff. I'm in. He says this works. I'm in.
Welcome to TimeBolt Office. Now that is great stuff for a company, right? That's great stuff if you're out there interviewing customers, if you're out there interviewing users. That was captured. That video, I think that show was over an hour and 20 minutes long and was cut down, chapterized for YouTube, teasers brought out front. And this is something that we would consider watchable content for YouTube. And it was something that I was able with Matt Wolf, that guy has over 600,000 subs now, was able to send to him and say, hey, look, your customer was talking about you. And when you can pack all that first whether it's business or YouTube, when you can pack all the best action and create FOMO up front, I think it really increases the value of your long format video. I wanted to kind of show how that worked out for our live office hours. Thank you for that. I'd like to go ahead and get to Adam. Are you able to join us by video by chance?
What's up? I'm doing great. We just have a meeting with our company. And a couple of days ago, we decided that your product is best for us, and we really need it. Although we normally automate all our content creation, I see that your company doesn't offer like API keys. We would need some API keys to be able to take multiple videos from our Google Drive to render it in some kind of settings with some specifications and get the final product without going to the actual app and doing it manually.
Can you tell us, just before you answer, can you tell us what type of content you make and what your decision-making process was?
Okay, we do for our clients, we transform long form content into, specifically for this one that we need it for, we transform long form content into short, and we have like thousands of videos. Our decision-making process is when a video performs good. We don't usually put too much effort into making those videos. It's just really simple cutout. And those videos that perform good, even without the high-end editing stuff, we want to put through your system and make them more engaging and use them again, because we already know that topic would work.
Is it a topic? Is the topic A, how do you know that a topic works? And B, is the topic, do you have to mine is the topic contained within a video with 10 other topics?
Yes. Basically, we take like 2 hour, half an hour podcast. We just make shorts from things they talk about with our client talks about with the host. We just cut the section out and post it onto our different social media. And by the engagement, by the results it gets, we already know that this is what people want to hear. That's when we use your product to really make the video engaging. And
so let me ask you, I know you joined a little late, and Quincy, I'm going to turn this right on over to you in just a second. Okay. You joined us a little late. Did you see the option? Like, you're starting with one long video, right?
We already have like thousands of short form videos, and just those, we keep them all on a drive, and those that already perform good, we tend to repurpose.
Okay. You tend to repurpose if they're already, okay. And you're just wanting, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. See, we have a new technology that allows you to go in, if you have a long video, if you have something like a client gives you like an hour or 2 hour long video that or podcast that has, let's say 15, 20 topics inside that. Well, with a new feature within TimeBolt, you can now go in and say, you mark it as a chapter for YouTube. So now you can go in and basically it'll go in and cut and render based on where you put the chapter markers, but that's all the cuts already made. You can basically render out 20 videos from one based on you having to watch your video at least once.
Yes, I know what you mean. This function, or how to say it, it's great, but we already have processes that we get our type of content from, and we just imagine we have like 100 videos that we want to re-edit, and we use your product to re-edit them. Like they are 33 seconds, okay? And with your product, we can make them like 25, 23, because we cut out all the dead air, we speed it up a little bit, we make some transitions. This is what we would use your product.
I understand you got a lot of files. After you do whatever you do in TimeBolt, are you rendering in TimeBolt? Are you exporting XML to go into like a design editor? Or are you rendering in TimeBolt?
I'm exporting it into MP4.
An MP4. Is there anything additional being added on to this MP4 after?
Yes. We then have our automation process that takes the videos and divides them into specific profiles that we use and renders captions for it.
It's you go in, but program are you using captions?
Currently we use.
Okay, not like CapCutter. In his Creatomate, the reason I ask is there's also a way to render down your specific video that, like, is if you're going to be putting captions on it, like what our workflow for CapCut, you render it to a file of folders. So it basically renders each cut as an individual video, but it's put in sequential order. You drop that into a CapCut or one of your programs, for example, and all of a sudden it makes captions much more accurate when you cut out all the crap and then with the cut up.
I appreciate the advice. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
but
okay.
Let's get to my main question. You don't offer any API keys on your website or anything. I already tried to contact the support, and I just got an email that you are doing this Q&A. I decided to hop on and ask you, because we really want to get the API keys. I know companies like sell them for some special price or whatever, like special plans. They make customized plans, and I wanted to ask you if it's even possible to get API keys.
One thing that I want to understand is you said you have these files in Google Drive, right? When
Yes.
you is there any extra editing that's required post downloading them from Drive and putting it into the program? Like, is there a human involved in
No.
the process?
No.
Like, do you make decisions after, like you said, you have a 33-second clip? Is there any process required once you put that clip into TimeBolt and then the person gets, I'm sure you've used TimeBolt by now to wonder, like, have you used TimeBolt, what it does? Like,
No.
there is no human involved. Once you put the file in, it's done. And then you can do the caption stuff after that.
Basically, yes.
This clip in Drive is not a long form video, right? It is a short video, but you want to make it shorter.
It's all, yes, exactly.
TimeBolt doesn't have an API, but is the script you're running in the cloud or is it local? Like, what kind of script are you doing?
We are using Zapier and Make.
Zapier, that's an issue. TimeBolt does have like a command line interface, but local on device, because TimeBolt is not an online server based. There is like a way you can open it. I don't exactly remember the commands. I'll have to check exactly what the commands are.
Okay.
But there is like a command where you can open the TimeBolt application via command line, and then run the file through and export it.
Okay.
But what I could but this won't work for you. I don't think it would, because you're saying your script is run in Zapier and all that. It's very difficult for you to run the script offline. We do have something called batch. For example, if you can have somebody involved, maybe like one person, or not even one person, just somebody. Go to tools. You can go to this option over here, multi-file utilities. You can click on batch process.
Yes.
And what this does is it lets you select like 1,000 files. If you want 1,000 files, you can select, for example, I can go to my whatever over here and I can select all these files and then I can just open them. And what it does is it goes through all of them one by one, cuts them out, and it will start rendering essentially.
Then I would export them all.
Correct. It's automatic. If you see the render queue is basically increasing. You can see that?
Yes.
It's going to go 2, it's going to be 3 now. And then once all of the things are cut out, edited, and added to the render queue, you can just click on start render and all of the clips will be done. And they all have consistent names. So the naming scheme will essentially be like the name of the file underscore timebolted.mp. You can write a script on top of this.
That's perfect. Yeah. Continue.
You don't need an API for this. You can just literally call batch process. If you have all your files in a folder, take that folder, select all the files, and you just have to wait for it. It's on device. There's no extra payment. There's nothing. It's on device.
Like follow-up question would be, I remember that I use the punch-in function.
Yeah, we don't have an automation for that. It's a manual process.
I couldn't batch process which punched in cuts. That would not be possible, right? If I would like, for example, knew that each cut I wanted to punch in and punch out, if I could.
I understand what you mean. We could add that as a feature, actually. That could be like a separate feature.
It would be great. That would be awesome.
Because then if it's a predictable thing where I don't know if it's a good idea, to be honest. It's kind of, because it could become unpredictable. You could get files which you don't want to behave in that manner. But let me see what I can do about that. Could be a feature which we could introduce in like a couple of weeks.
In a couple of weeks, are you talking, right? If you really decide to put in a feature like this, would it take weeks or like months?
No, it won't take weeks, but I have other backlog stuff which I have to. There is batch. See, the thing about TimeBolt is that it's very different from every other editor. It's not online. It's completely offline, which is why it's so cheap. I mean, that's the whole reason, right? Because we don't have to maintain like a lot of infrastructure online. Try the batch stuff. Let me see if I can write like an API or some command line interface to automate this part. We haven't done this because we haven't gotten any requests.
It's very specific, the request. But what I would ask, can you batch process and export them into the file that use Premiere?
Batch process XML? No, not yet.
Because I could set up the punch-in effect on like in Premiere or something like that.
Okay, you can do that actually. True. That is actually an ongoing request. That might be possible. That would be easier actually that would probably be easier because it will just be an extension of this.
You could just pick like what file you want to export it in, right? That's potentially coming, right?
Potentially, possibly very soon, hopefully, because we already had a chat about it. Me and Doug already talked about this. When you're saying XML, you are saying then modify the XML file. But then again, are you talking about doing it as a manual process?
No, I would set up some kind of template in like the Premiere or something like that. I would just use the punch in, punch out effect between every single cut.
You have to load the XML first, right? And then that would also, that's
pretty
complicated, to be honest.
Yeah, it is pretty complicated. Maybe I should just leave out.
I wouldn't recommend doing that, to be honest. Because this XML thing, I wrote it myself and it was really hard.
Okay.
Like generating the XML sequences, I wrote that myself. It's going to be super fucking hard to do that.
I would set up a Premiere and in Premiere template that I would just download XML file and put it in Premiere, and it
No,
would be
I'm saying automating that is going to be difficult. Manually doing it is not hard. I'm
Yes.
saying because you need to automate it with code, right?
I would have to automate it with code. But
Yeah.
if I use some online editor, I could actually use some API.
Yeah, but that's online.
Yeah.
If you want to use an online editor, that's different.
Yeah,
because then
I
you'll
know.
have to pay for transcription. It's if you do this process online, it's going to be super expensive.
Yes.
Simply because you have to transcribe each file again. And then the reason people use TimeBolt is because it's offline and it's way cheaper. That's the only reason. So there are some trade-offs that you
I
have.
think-
Oh, and precision, speed,
Yes.
accuracy,
I
all
Speed
that.
accuracy, exactly.
Works
It's
the
much
best.
faster, much.
Yes, it definitely works the best. That's why I want to use it. I don't care if one like step in my process would be like downloading them and editing them online with TimeBolt. I just wanted to ask this
Yeah.
question.
So one solution is to use batch processing, where you can select all files and just hit them, and you can just leave it overnight, and it'll just be done at the end.
If I batch process, that means like I take 10 clips that
10,
are
you can take 100. You can take
Yeah,
1,000 if you want.
100, of course. Just an example, and it will render out every single one of them.
It's
Not
happening
like
right now. See, it's
not-
happening
not-
right now.
I will just. That's all I need. I will not have any questions.
You don't need API keys for this. You just need to have a folder with all your clips. Just open. So it's in here.
I know, I know.
Multi-file utility, batch processing. Open that and just select all of the clips you have. Press enter. Go have a coffee. Go have fun. Come back. It's done.
Yes, I was just curious if I can somehow connect it
Yeah,
to.
that's
Punch
not
automation.
possible. It's an offline folder, right? It's an offline program.
Yes.
It was because the thing about the reason it's offline is because it makes more sense for regular use. It's faster, cheaper. It's one of the main reasons there. Faster and cheaper.
Yeah, would you
Okay.
rather drive a car or play a video game driving a car, right?
That would be all for me. Thank you so much for answering. I
The
appreciate it.
punch thing is difficult, but I will look into it.
And
If punch could possibly.
if we did look into punch again, the primary group, this is kind of a one-off use case what Adam's bringing to us, but the group that needs punch automation that could really use it is the gamers, right? Because gaming content creators, they're like, hey, they got to punch in and punch out of all these different scenes. And it's not so much like they're punching in for any specific reason or like
Yes,
it's
exactly.
more just to kind of jar your attention
Because-
span.
Because Gen Z just needs something moving.
So that's what I'm saying. That would be the group that
Yeah.
we would be looking at punch automation for.
One recommendation I do have is when you're using batch processing, right? If all your clips at a similar sound level, like if you have normalized all the clips, if you have decibel, like done all of that work, one thing I'd recommend is going into settings and making sure you have this value turned off. Automatically detect filter value. What this does is it basically each file you drop in, TimeBolt is going to try to find the best silence value for that, like to make the best cuts. But if you already know what the best value is, you should just do it manually, right? If you want to stop TimeBolt from detecting the value automatically, you can use this option. You can uncheck this, and it will stop detecting it automatically and use the value you previously fed in.
Okay, great. So only one thing that I would like to point out, if I can, that I think it's not as good as I expected, is the transitions you can pick from. I think they're really old-fashioned.
It's not meant for high quality. The TimeBolt interface is not meant that sort of video. If like, it's not CapCut, right? It's not going to be CapCut. It's not supposed to be. TimeBolt built for a very specific purpose, and that is to create very effective jump cuts,
Yes.
right? And that's why we have the options of taking them from TimeBolt to other devices, because we want to be the first thing you do after you record a video. That's the first thing. The TimeBolt should be the first thing, and then you can take it to DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro. The reason we have the transitions at all for quick video, like if you want to make videos that are very fast and that look good, but you don't want to spend a lot of time in designing it. One more thing we have transitions is for if you are doing something like a banger. We have this thing called export to unlisted link and upload to an unlisted link. When you want to present your content effectively and don't want to spend a lot of time doing it, but it still looks nice. So for a creator like you, I wouldn't say these options are too useful, but there are other swaths of creators for whom these are very important features. That's the only, I wouldn't recommend you to use apply transition.
Well, and then also if your videos are 33 seconds, okay, what you also have to understand and take into account, if you're setting this up, you need to make sure your first one is set up correct, because your last use settings is what all is going to be used in batch. Okay.
Yeah.
When you go to apply transitions, that is a very specific feature that you want to put your transition value at 0.5 seconds, and then you're going to have to stick your right padding at.
I already like played around with it.
Yeah,
I think
don't use this. Yeah,
Well,
don't use this.
No, whatever your settings are right there are not
I
typical
think-
settings.
I think this app has a lot of potential. I really like it because we tried like 10 different audio editing stuff, and I think this one is one of the best, definitely. If you make some upgrades, I think it has a lot of potential. I really like it. I just was trying the transitions, and they really like.
No, the thing is, one thing I always think about is we've been building this product for a while, and the way it is right now is there's a reason why it is like this. There's a reason why we didn't go the other route, which is like the CapCut route or the Descript route. It's because, in our opinion, this is the most effective tool for that particular use. If we add anything more to this or significantly change it in some way, it's not going to be as effective. And that's the fear that I have. Like, I don't know about Doug, but for me personally, I feel like if I change, like, for example, the timeline editor, right? Let me show you something. This timeline editor, people ask us why we don't have the pull feature. That's one of the things that people don't understand. Like, for me, it's much easier to do this, like with my keyboard. It's a very effective tool like this. For like, if I add those features, or if we add those features in here, it might lose what it actually already has, which is the problem. Like, whenever we add new features, that's what we think about. Is it going to take away from something we already?
It's a must-have edits, right? It's a video edit for must-have video edits.
For me, like, using my keyboard to edit is like the most important things. Like, we invented this timeline for like to behave in that manner.
Thank you for all explanations. I think that would be all for me, and I have to go. Your product is great, and I really appreciate it. And thank you for answering. I really appreciate it as well.
Thank you.
You bet, Adam.
Do send me an email. Do send me an email about your batch experience. I would love to. My email ID is Quinston, my name.
Can you type it in the chat?
I'll just type it in the chat.
Okay, I'll copy it and I'll let you.
We don't have a keyboard equivalent of merge similar cuts. You have to actually press that button, Kathleen. It's a good question.
Thank you so much, guys. I have to go now.
All right. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you too.
Goodbye. So Kathleen and TJ, what I'm going to do is the rest of this, I'm going to go through just for a little bit and show this video from our friend Bob with Accelerator. And I'm going to show this video from Accelerator that he started with, that he did with Descript, and then one that he made for TimeBolt. I appreciate you guys joining, and TJ, thanks for all the updates. If you have to go, I totally understand it, but if not, you're more than welcome to stay on here with us. We got a video. I found this review about Descript, and transcriptions we believe they're inherently inaccurate because they're talking about bringing words down. They basically figure out where a word is and bring it down to the millisecond level with word timestamps, and that in and of itself would make it inherently inaccurate and are prone for accuracy issues. And then when you add in that 20 to 30% of your timeline is dead air, mic strikes, random noises that it also has to sort through, you can see why there becomes great accuracy issues. But now, after Descript's been out for about a year, could be for Gling or any transcription-based editor, okay? Now the word's coming out like, hey, look, we've been using it long enough, but eventually you're going to notice something's broke. And that broke thing costs them a lot of time still.
You sharing a screen, Doug?
God damn it. Sorry.
I'll use TimeBolt to cut that part out right now for you.
Yeah, thank you. TimeBolt that part. That's not going in the highlight reel, TJ. I guess you probably heard a little bit about what's going on.
But it's not always just a number that gets labeled here as blank space. And where that really becomes a problem is not when you're going through the timeline and looking at things, because obviously you can see it. Where this becomes a real issue is if we come up to this little actions doohickey where we have all these cool things that we can do, like remove or shorten the word gaps. And we click on that rascal and we say, find any gap that's 1 second or more long and shorten it down.
As you can see, this isn't a value that, like, you are limited at a 0.5 or 0.20 padding. Okay, like that's, otherwise you cut off the front of words too. You're already talking
just
sloppy cuts.
Good news.
We're at 20 times
over
more
here
precise.
On the right, in this panel, it's going to show you search results, which are all the places where this would apply. If you want, you can audition each one of those. You can click that, it'll jump right to it, play it, let you hear what it's about to do. But if you don't, if you were just to say, okay, find any spaces that are 1 second or more and shorten them to 1 second, shorten all, going to clip out things based on what it interpreted the spaces to be. It will take spot.
Transcripts are cool, right? Like that's, you can see when you keep all that stuff in there, it can become really fast with accuracy. I told him after I saw this video, because most YouTubers today are like, click one button and everything's done for you. Well, that's just bullshit. It is total bullshit. I look at that, and they're even talking about in between their groups when they have their own live streams, hey, I kind of might probably feel like this is clickbait because it isn't just a single button. What I did was I told this guy, I'm like, hey, listen, I told him, I was like, we have a 20 times more precise start to cut, review TimeBolt. If you think I'm bullcrap, make a video, call TimeBolt a scam, call me a scam, whatever you want to do, right? And I just laid it out there for him, okay? And well, he did. He ended up looking at TimeBolt, and this is what the new video is. I cut 2/3 of my editing time with time. So we're very proud of this. And I didn't know he was even going to make a video. We had no
I
say.
actually found something cut down my editing time. No hype, no nonsense. It really did. I edit all my own videos and I edit a podcast, which is at least one episode a week. And I've been doing that for well over a year and I hate it. So I actually had some of those podcast episodes stacking up. Meanwhile, I get a comment from a fellow named Doug that says, hey, if you add this thing to your workflow, it'll cut down your editing time significantly. He was very confident and I was intrigued. My editing workflow for the podcast is to bring the raw audio file into Descript and start with a transcription-based editing. It's just a lot quicker to go through the words on the screen in the transcription-based editing and cut out the parts you don't want, cut out the silences and all that jazz. The problem is, in every transcript-based editor I've seen, whether it's Descript or Camtasia's Audiate or CapCut's transcription-based editor or DaVinci, they can cut the silences out for you and the words that you don't want, but the accuracy leaves a lot to be desired. What you end up doing, going through and making that first pass of cuts and maybe edits, getting rid of all the silences, and then you have to come back through and listen to the whole thing all over again, adjustments, because the way it works in transcript-based editing is it takes your audio file or the audio track of your video file and it uses AI to transcribe that into words. And then it tries to figure out where those words are in relation to the video, and it's not always accurate. In fact, a lot of times it's way off. When I tell Descript to cut out all the silences that are longer than half a second, it ends up cutting off the tail end of some words, it ends up cutting off the beginning of some other words, and then there's spoken words in the waveform that you can see they're there plain as day, but the AI didn't recognize them, didn't know what the words were, it just cut them out altogether thinking it was nothing. You have to play it back through, listen carefully, and when you find all these places where a word's cut off, or gee, I think a whole phrase is missing there, you have to go down to your timeline, make the clip on the left a little bit longer, make the clip on the right a little bit shorter, and then keep going on and do that over and over and over again. I've always wondered as I'm doing that, and I'm looking at the timeline, I'm looking at the waveform and going, it is painfully obvious that there's something being said here, that there is audio. This is not a silent. Why in the world these AI editors can't figure that out and get it right? Well, that's where TimeBolt comes into play. And if you've heard about TimeBolt before and passed on it because you thought, it's going to cut out the silences, that's only one step, but it's adding another step because I have to run it through TimeBolt to do that, nah, I'll keep doing it my way. You're not alone. I have seen people talk about TimeBolt and other things like it before and thought the same thing. But let me tell you how this ends up saving you time. If you're editing your audio or videos by manually going through first and cutting out silence or cutting out silences as any part of your editing process, every one of those gaps that you want to cut out, you're clicking the start of the silence and cutting it, you're clicking the end of the silence and cutting it, and then you're removing that silence from the timeline. That's at the very least 3 or 4 clicks every time you want to remove a silence. It may only be a few seconds, but the time adds up and it takes a while. If you're using transcript-based editing, like I have been, you can quickly get rid of the silences in theory, but then because you have to go back and fix so many of the inaccurate cuts, that ends up taking a lot of time. Now, the second way it saves you time is when you're doing the rest of your editing. If you're doing it the old-fashioned way with the timeline editor and you're playing through and cutting things as you come to them and making adjustments, well, you're not going to have all those silences that you have to keep playing through over and over again as you edit or cut them out as you come to them. And if you're using a transcript-based editor, the transcripts that the AI creates tends to be more accurate if you have accurately removed all the silence. But those are areas in your video or your audio that it doesn't have to figure out full width or get confused and think that they are part of words or that the words next to them aren't words or whatever the AI thinks. And this time savings is a point that Doug made when he made that comment on my Descript video. And I should tell you that Doug is the co-founder of TimeBolt. He knows a thing or two about it, and he was very confident and made some bold claims about the time savings. In fact, he provided me with a 1-year subscription and said, try this out for yourself, and if it doesn't work for you, you can make fun of me, call me names, and point at me. But he was obviously very confident that if I just tried it, it would work and I would want to tell people about it. And he was right. Now, TimeBolt did not pay me to make this video. I did mark it as a paid promotion because I did receive access to it for free, but neither Doug nor TimeBolt have any control over what I'm saying in this video. I figured since I got free access though, I could be biased and I want to make sure I'm upfront with you about that. Now here's the other time-saving aspect of using TimeBolt to accurately cut out the silences before you do anything else with your video editing, and that is that you're creating a much smaller video file for your video editing software to work with. I don't know about you, but I've edited videos where the raw video that I start with is 3 minutes, and I've had some where it's 2.5 hours. If you're dealing with a big file, things are going to be slower. So if you have an hour-long raw file, if you could start off with cutting out all those silences and take it from an hour-long video to a 30-minute video, it's half the size. So your video editing software doesn't have to worry about that other half. Now, if you're thinking, well, Bob, I cut out all those silences, first thing when I start editing, it's already down to a 30-minute file. Oh, no, it's not down to a 30-minute file, because in your non-destructive editor, you're making those marks and those cuts in the editor, and you're telling it in my final output, I don't want these parts to be here. So if you cut out sections, they're not really cut out though, because they have to be there, that if you come back while you're editing and decide, no, I want this clip to be a little longer in the beginning, I want to include that part, I want that other section in, so I'm just going to drag this out to the right and extend this clip and make it longer. The video editing software has to keep that data, that it can be ready for those edits anytime you want to make them. It's working with the original raw file that you imported into it. And if you're using AI features in videos that you bring into your video editor, you're using CapCut's background remover or image enhance or enhance voice, the longer the clip is that you want to apply those to, the longer it takes to run. And if you have an hour,
that's an interesting point that I never even thought about, is like, that is processing time, especially when you get into the more advanced features in some of these AI editors. There's a lot of processing time. And basically, if you're removing 50% of your timeline, it's not having to go through also the silences and do things like overdub. And of course, what he goes on to say is TimeBolt is an editor that also does most everything you need for most of your videos. Right. Like you don't know, like that's actually what this whole graph, and I'm trying to figure out how to properly explain, is that TimeBolt focuses on the must-have. It does the must-have video edits very well. And those must-have video edits are all about removing time and getting your x-axis right. And the other editors are doing both removing time and adding to. We built one designed to do one thing very fast and well, and that is get your must-have edits done. And hopefully, and the goal is that it's fast enough that it allows for this spontaneous video creation that we've all been promised with the use of video at YouTube and at work. But time, if it's going to take you 3 times as long to make a video file as this, to type a 5-paragraph email, you're probably still going to type a 5-paragraph email. And he just kind of goes through a tutorial about how to actually use TimeBolt. But we're here for disenfranchised AI owners, and certainly that's where Mr. Wolf, right, with Matt Wolf with AI, they actually put TimeBolt right in front. So we're not here to compete with Descript in a way. We're more of an enhancement tool for these design-based editors, which Descript's looking to replace Premiere. We don't. We're looking. Do you have anything? I like how you delineated and did that inside that video that you put up on Twitter. For some reason, I'm unable to post any type of video to any channel. It just says, trust me.
You're banned on Twitter?
No, I shouldn't be banned on. There's 2 different accounts, 2 different names, all that stuff. I don't understand why I can't.
No, I enjoyed that video. It's more of a confirmation of all the assumptions that we've made over the...
Yes, and in fact, Kathleen and TJ, you are on the fastest software. Not that you guys had to be told that, but that's what TimeBolt is. I think we're going to see like a cycle come back where realizing AI is not going to do everything for you. It's really good at generating stuff, maybe. It's good at content generation, but as far as like
I'm not going to declare myself as an enemy of AI, because in the future, when AI takes over the world, I'm going to be a friend, but they don't kill me.
I say please and thank you to ChatGPT, man.
Thank you. Always say thanks to ChatGPT, because in the future they're going to rule the world, and you're going to be happy that you said showed gratitude when it mattered.
What was that on Tropic Thunder? He's like, "Oh, Paul, we're going to be like Ben Stiller in that movie, dude." This kind of
Thunder is such a good movie.
That's the best. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your insight and feedback. Do we have any more questions?
Well, thank you so much, Doug. I'm going to check out the Mac, and if it's within my budget, I'll go that way. Otherwise, I'll probably knock on TJ's door again for help picking out a PC within my budget.
I already sent you a link that you could take a look at. Just let me know.
All right. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you all for joining. That's it for TimeBolt Office Hours. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, the notification bell when we go live, and we're out of time. Have a great weekend.